There are a lot of different ways you can make drawers for a piece of furniture such as this, and some of them are a lot more complicated than others. So in this video, I'm going to show you one of the easier ways to make drawers, and this one only requires some plywood, a pocket hole jig, some pocket hole screws, and a table saw. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make it. Now for these drawers, I made a face frame. I had to build out the sides here and here to get this plywood piece in the middle. I had to build it out so that we can mount the drawer slides properly right here. So these pieces are flush with the face frame. If you don't do a face frame, this wouldn't be an issue, but we chose to do that. Now the other thing we're going to do is the actual real drawer front is going to extend over the frame. So what we're basically doing is we're building the box that goes inside here. The drawer front will attach to the box, and then the handle will be in front, just like you'd see any other raised drawer face you often see on cabinetry. The first thing we need to do is determine the size of the box. So my opening is 23 3/8. And for my drawer slides, we're going to use these ball bearing slides. They are 17.5 inches long. So that's going to help determine what we're going to do. So we're going to make the drawer depth 17.5 to match the slide. We're going to make the width of the drawer, the width of the opening, minus 1 inch. Now the 1 inch is due to these slides being a 1/2 inch thick each. So we have a 1/2 inch on this side, we have a 1/2 inch on this side. It'll take up space. So our drawer will be 1 inch smaller than the opening. As for the height, the opening is 14. We don't need it to be that deep. We're going to make it 13. So we're just going to subtract 1 inch on the height. And this is primarily this is going to go in a coffee shop. It's going to be used for storage for merchandise. It's going to sit on the upper part of this cabinet. So the depth, I know that's really deep for a drawer. Typically wouldn't do that, but because of the way it's being used, it should suit the customer fine. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to get started cutting all the pieces, and then I'll show you how to assemble. I cut the drawer sides, the height, so they're going to be this high. I cut the lengths of each one. So what we're going to have is we're going to have the drawer go together like this. This will be the front. Now, when I'm assembling things, I always like to try to hide the fasteners, even if it's on a drawer. So the way I've designed this is we're going to use pocket hole screws. We're going to drill pocket holes on the front and on the back of the drawer. They will attach to the sides. And then the front, the false front that actually looks like the ash wood that's in this project is going to go over this. So you'll never see these pocket hole screws. You'll also never see the ones in the back because they're in the back. So from the side, if the drawer's open, you won't see them. If you look down into the drawer, you won't see them. I just like to hide fasteners anytime I can. This is an opportunity to do so. Now, one other thing we're going to do, this is going to be the drawer bottom. It's a 1/4 inch thick piece of plywood, and it hasn't been cut to size yet, but what's going to happen is it's going to fit down in a groove that we're going to cut on each piece, and that groove will then support the plywood so that it will then in turn support whatever gets put in the drawer. So that's one last step we got to do. Now that groove is going to have to be about a 1/4 inch wide, and it's going to go halfway down into this piece in each one of these. So I will set the table saw up so that it is about 3/8 deep cut, and it's going to be a 1/4 inch from the edge. And I'll make a pass on each piece, and then I'll move the fence and make one more pass to get that width of a 1/4 inch, because my blade is actually slightly under an 1/8 inch thick. So I'll need to make several passes to accommodate this piece. So that's what we're going to do next. And we'll drill the pocket holes and we're ready to assemble. So sometimes it's hard to see the tape measure when you're setting the depth. So all I'm going to do actually is I'm going to draw a line 3/8 from the bottom on this piece of plywood. And I'm going to lower that blade to that mark. Now you want to make sure that you're high pointing the blade. So measure at the highest point coming out of the saw. And that looks pretty good. So now I just need to get it, so I want a 1/4 inch. Actually, we're gonna make it a 1/2 inch up off the bottom, which is right there. Now we're ready to make our cuts. Now I'm going to make one more test cut on one of my scrap pieces. I'm going to use this for my final cut so that I can make sure that that plywood's going to fit in the groove. So now I'm going to move the blade over one blade width and make a second cut. Now we'll double check. And it's not quite enough, so I'll have to go a little bit further. They used to make these blades so they were an 1/8 inch. Now they make them like a little bit less. And so you can't really count on the 1/8 inch anymore. All right, so you can see that's a nice snug fit. It's going to work. I'm going to cut the rest of these. Now there is a chance that when I make the second cut, there's going to be a little sliver in the middle that I'll need to adjust and trim out. But at least I know now where the top side and the bottom side of this cut needs to go. The sliver will be easy to trim out after the fact. So here we have a Kreg Pocket Hole Jig, and I have it set up to cut into 3/4 inch material. You set the depth here for your material thickness, and then you also have to set this collet on your bit so that the collar goes to the 3/4 mark on the machine. All that is in the instructions if you end up getting one of these. I highly recommend them. I use mine all the time. It is one of my most commonly used tools in the shop. So I can put a link in the description for this one. They make ones that are more modular. I don't think they work quite as well as these. These ones that mount to the bench top are top notch. So we're going to drill these holes on the outside. That means that I want the holes to be the opposite side as the groove I cut. So I always want to make sure I'm not seeing the groove. I'm also only drilling the holes on the front and on the back piece. I am not drilling it on the sides. And for this, I want to stay away from that groove a little bit. So I'm going to want one. I probably want 4 of them, and they're all going to be above that groove. So there's the pocket holes. Now I'm just going to do it on the other end as well, and then do it on the other side, and we'll be good to go. Again, it's important. Make sure when you flip the ends, make sure you see the holes you already drilled, so you're sure to be drilling on the other side, on the right side. I used to always tell my students that in class, like, always make the ugliest side face you, or always make sure you see the screws that you did at the other end. It's just a way to double check yourself to make sure you're doing things right. Nothing's worse than making a face frame and finding out that you drilled pocket holes on each side of the board. I have seen people do that. It's a little bit frustrating. Because on a face frame, you can't hide it. That's all there is to it. Let's drill one more. Again, I'm double checking, making sure my groove's facing away from me. I'm not really worried about the spacing here, because nobody's ever going to see it. Now, when using this jig, it has 3 holes. In an instance like this, it does not matter which holes you're using. They all do the same thing. It's just for spacing. So there may be times where you want to use certain holes over others. I like to try to line it up with the one above it, but as long as it doesn't hit the wrong spot, we're okay. The last step before assembly is we got to cut this bottom. Now, I actually just cut it, and this is actually my second time explaining this to you, but I didn't have my microphone on, so I'm going to explain what I did so that you can understand how this is actually going to work. So the bottom fits into the groove that we cut, and it fits into the side. Now, in order to determine the size of this bottom, this is my front right here. It has the pocket hole screws on it. Because my front sets between my sides, like so. So the sides are the outer part of the drawer, and it has to fit between the 2 sides. The bottom has to be longer than the actual front is. And that length, the extra length, is going to be 2 times the depth of my groove that it's sitting in. So my groove is 3/8, so 2 times 3/8 is 3/4. So my bottom, in order to fit in the groove and be supported by the wood underneath, should be the width of this plus 3/4. And that will fit nicely. So that gets you the width across the front of the drawer. Now, for the measurement this direction, what we have to do is we have to take the measurement of the sides, which is this is resting on the bench, and we need to subtract 2 times the depth of the groove. And the reason for that is it has to fit in this groove. It can't go to the outer part of the drawer because there's wood here. So it has to fit in the groove here. And it has to fit in the groove over here. So the bottom is 3/4 less than the depth of the drawer, which is this, and 3/4 longer than the fronts of the drawer, which are these, front and back. So that's how we came up with that. Everything seems to fit really well. So the next step is just to screw this drawer together, and it is done once we do that. So I'm going to show you how I get that done. Okay, so we're going to get started on this drawer. I wanted this plywood has a nice side and a not so nice side. I want to make sure the nice side is facing up. Okay. So it's going to go together like this. Now, we're going to start by clamping this. I just have a Jorgensen bar clamp here, and I'm going to use that just to hold everything together. When you're using pockets of screws, you want to have it clamped, because as soon as that screw hits the piece it's going into, it tends to want to push itself apart. So you definitely want to have it clamped. These work pretty well. There's clamps that are made by Kreg, who makes the Jig, that work pretty well. They actually fit right inside those pocket holes. And all you have to do, it's nice to have a longer bit. Impact is really handy because the impact will set the depth right. If you have just a normal drill, if you want to, you could power that thing right through there. You don't want to do that. It can mess things up. So it's really nice to have an impact. And then I'm going to move my clamp. So it's nice and flush still. Put these last 2 in. And we're just going to repeat this the entire way around this. So you see how it's going to fit in here. Now it's not going to be down on resting on this bottom. It'll be up a little bit. Comes close to the top though. Just to show you how it'll fit. Spacing for the slide is there for each side. And it should slide in and out just fine. The main purpose of this video was really just to show you how to make this box. If you can learn how to make the box fit the opening, you are 9/10 of the way there. The rest is just making a face and attaching the drawer slides, and that part is not that difficult. You just want to make sure these slides get nice and even. Typically, you're going to attach them to the drawer separately from the cabinet. As for the face, all I'm going to do is, once I get this in place, I'm going to figure out how far face needs to extend past this opening, past the top and bottom sides of the drawer. Once I get that face made, and it may come up 3/4 of an inch, come in and each side the 3/4 of an inch, down 3/4 of an inch. I'm not exactly sure. It's going to be right around that. Once I get that, then I just fasten it to the drawer from the backside with screws, and it'll stay in place. It'll look really nice. It'll close nicely. You can make face drawer fronts that fit the opening, but you're going to fight squareness. You're going to fight the gap. You want a nice even gap the whole way around. It's definitely not a beginner way to do things, which the whole point of this video was to show you a beginner way to do things here. So I hope this was helpful. I thank you so much for watching. And there'll be a few videos on this next screen that should help you out. We'll see you next time.